The rideshare door clicks shut, the neon lights of the city fade into the background, and suddenly, the silence inside the vehicle feels heavy enough to crush your chest. You weren't forced to go out tonight. You were with people you genuinely love, laughing at jokes that were actually funny. By all accounts, it was a perfect night. But as you stare out the window at the passing streetlights, an inexplicable emptiness hollows you out. You aren't just tired, you feel raw, exposed, and quietly broken. This is the psychological paradox that nobody warns us about. It is the deep, suffocating fatigue that arrives not after a day of misery, but after a night of genuine joy. When you feel this way, a dangerous internal narrative begins to form. You start to believe that something is fundamentally wrong with your ability to experience happiness. You ask yourself why you can't just be normal, why you can't hold on to the warmth of good company. But you are not ungrateful and you are not broken. What you are experiencing is a specific neurological phenomenon, the hidden bankruptcy of sensory and emotional overstimulation. Today, we are going to look past the surface of your social life and explore the exact brain mechanics behind why your favorite nights are leaving you so desperately drained. To understand this unique exhaustion, we have to look at how the human brain processes a genuinely good time. When you are out with friends, your environment is a battlefield of intense sensory data. Think about the physical space, the thumping bass of the music, the overlapping conversations at nearby tables, the flashing lights, and the constant rapid shifting of facial expressions right in front of you. Even when you are blissfully happy and completely enjoying yourself, your brain is working in overdrive behind the scenes just to filter this chaotic influx of information. Every burst of genuine laughter, every shared memory, and every spark of deep connection floods your neurological system with dopamine. It feels incredible. Dopamine is the chemical of anticipation, reward, and active engagement. It is what keeps you sharp, witty, and beautifully alive in the moment. But dopamine is never a free resource provided by your body. It is essentially a high-interest loan borrowed from your brain's future energy reserves. While you're sitting at that crowded table, sharing appetizers and telling stories, your brain is burning through its chemical capital at an unsustainable rate. The brighter the fire burns, the faster the fuel disappears. When the night finally ends and the external stimulation abruptly stops, your dopamine levels don't just return to a peaceful, steady baseline, they plummet into a temporary deficit. The profound emptiness you feel in the quiet of your room isn't sadness, and it isn't a sign of mental weakness. It is the physiological crash of a brain that has run completely out of its joy chemical. You are quite literally paying back the dopamine debt collector, and that collector always demands full payment in the form of absolute exhaustion. But here's where it gets even interesting. We naturally assume that because we are surrounded by trusted friends, our nervous system must be in a state of complete relaxation. We think, these are my people, so I'm safe. But from an evolutionary and neurological standpoint, human socialization is always a high-stakes psychological operation that demands immense focus. Even among people who love you completely, your brain never truly stops calculating. Without your conscious permission, your subconscious mind is constantly scanning the environment for micro-expressions and social cues. Your brain asks a million silent questions every hour. Are they staying engaged with what I'm saying? Did that comment land well? Am I contributing enough value to the conversation? Am I maintaining the right amount of eye contact? This internal drive isn't born out of insecurity or social anxiety. It is simply the natural cognitive tax of human empathy, social bonding, and mutual cooperation. Psychologists refer to this total mental effort as cognitive load. When you are alone in your room, your cognitive load drops to its lowest possible level because there are no external minds to read. But in a lively social setting, you are processing a multi-layered matrix of human psychology in real time. You are managing your own responses while simultaneously absorbing and interpreting the emotional energy of everyone around you. Your autonomic nervous system enters a state of mild, sustained hyper-vigilance. You are effectively running a massive, heavy software program in the background of your mind for hours on end. When you finally disconnect from the group and step into your quiet home, the sudden drop in cognitive load feels like an emotional freefall. The silence doesn't just feel quiet, it feels deafening, because your nervous system is trying to slam on the brakes after racing at top speed for hours.
And this is the part most people miss. This pattern of post-social exhaustion feels completely manageable if it only happens once in a while. Your body rests, your brain replenishes its chemicals, and you move on. The real psychological danger arises when having a good time becomes a consecutive, cumulative routine in your weekly life. Think of your nervous system's capacity like a standard kitchen sponge. A single night of deep, active socialization fills that sponge to the brim with sensory data, emotional impressions, and social inputs. To function properly and maintain its natural resilience, that sponge needs dedicated time to dry out in the quiet sun of complete solitude. But in our hyper-connected modern world, we rarely grant ourselves that critical recovery window. We transition from a high-stress workday straight into a casual dinner with a friend, followed by a weekend gathering with family, all while navigating endless digital group chats and social media notifications in between. When you stack multiple social events on top of each other without a hard reset, your nervous system remains permanently soaked. Eventually, the threshold of your tolerance shrinks to almost nothing. Activities and people that used to bring you genuine happiness start to feel like psychological chores. You find yourself nodding along to a friend's story, but your mind is a complete vacuum. You can hear their voice, but you can no longer process the meaning of their words. You are physically present, but neurologically checked out. This is social saturation. It is your brain's desperate, automated defense mechanism. It is turning down the volume of the entire world because you refuse to seek out the quiet yourself. The strange thing is, this pattern often feels entirely normal and sustainable until the day your mind or body simply refuses to cooperate anymore. If we want to protect our mental peace without isolating ourselves from the people we care about, we have to radically change how we view our social availability. We must stop treating invitations as mandatory tests of our loyalty or friendship. The first step is mastering the discipline of the emotional budget. Before you eagerly say yes to another night out or a weekend plan, look closely at your upcoming week. Do not just ask yourself, do I have the physical time on my calendar for this? Instead, ask the much more important question, do I have the nervous system available for this? If your mental bandwidth is already stretched thin by the weight of daily life, work stress, or personal challenges, adding a high-stimulus social event, even an incredibly fun one, will only accelerate your internal collapse. It is an act of deep maturity and self-awareness, not selfishness, to say, I love you and I value our friendship, but I don't have the neurological capacity to be great company tonight. Secondly, we need to learn the art of the clean exit. The most exhausting part of any social gathering is rarely the main event. It's often the final 20%. It's the lingering goodbyes at the door, the prolonged debates over how to split the bill, and the subtle social pressure to go to just one more venue before the night ends. You are fully allowed to leave the moment your internal battery hits 15%. You do not owe anyone your total exhaustion. Leaving early preserves a small, sacred pocket of energy for yourself. This small pocket allows you to transition back to your internal world smoothly and peacefully, rather than crashing violently into the dark when you finally arrive home. At the end of the day, your energy is a finite, sacred currency. It is the absolute foundation of your personal creativity, your emotional resilience, and your overall mental well-being. Spending every last drop of it just to maintain the external appearance of a vibrant, non-stop social life is a bad trade that will always leave your inner world completely bankrupt. It is a profound truth of human psychology that you cannot truly connect with others if you are completely disconnected from yourself. Needing days of absolute stillness, minimal stimulation, and zero communication doesn't mean you're antisocial, cold, or lonely. It simply means you're human, and your nervous system is functioning exactly the way nature designed it to. You don't need to apologize for your silence, and you never need to justify your absence to protect your peace. The next time you find yourself sitting on the edge of your bed in a quiet room, feeling that heavy, unspoken exhaustion after a great night out, give yourself permission to just sit there. Don't analyze the feeling, don't judge yourself for it, and don't try to fight it. Your brain is simply catching its breath, bringing you back to the center of who you are.
When was the last time a perfectly good, fun night left you feeling completely empty inside? Let me know your thoughts and experiences in the comments below, and let's talk about it as a community. If this perspective offered you a sense of relief and clarity today, consider subscribing to Prism Mind. Together, we will continue to look beneath the surface of our daily lives. Take a deep breath, protect your nervous system, and I'll see you in the next video.